What do you do if you see your narcissist in public after you've gone no contact?
I've been re-traumatized after running into the narcissist after going no contact. How to deal.
That's exactly what we're talking about today at queenbeing.com. So let's get started. Closed captioning provided by Athena Moberg and cptsdfoundation.org. My name is Angie Atkinson, and on this channel, I offer free daily video coaching to help you discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. I like to call it toxic relationship rehab. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button and let's get going.
Plan ahead. Decide what it is that you're going to do when you see your narcissist, and then do it when you see him or her. So something I tell my clients is, to write down 2 or 3 sentences that you think would be appropriate to say to your narcissist when or if you happen to run into them, if you are forced to talk to them. Ideally, you don't want to draw attention to yourself if you see the narcissist. Now, in a normal breakup, you might want to just walk over and say, hey, how you doing? Are you okay? Is life good for you? Blah, blah, blah. But in a breakup with a narcissist, it's a whole different ball of wax, and you know that. There's a reason you went no contact with this person, right? And this is true if you're dealing with a parent or family member or a former boss or a former coworker or a former friend. Anyone that you've had to go no contact with who is a narcissist of a toxic nature is someone you're going to have to do this with. Don't engage the person unless you're forced to. Don't draw attention to yourself. Do whatever you can to, if you need to leave the party early, go ahead and do it. Don't put yourself in harm's way, and I mean emotionally or physically. If you are forced to speak with the narcissist, do so as dryly as possible. Don't get into any heavy topics, and if the narcissist tries to do that, then you say, you know what, we'll have to talk about that later, or whatever it is that you can say. Stay gray rock, meaning you don't give the narcissist any emotional reaction, because I promise you, my friend, that's what they want. Whether it's you cry because you haven't seen him in so long, or it's that you get angry because they trigger something in you, or you get scared, whatever. Don't give them any reaction. Even if you feel something inside of yourself, don't give the narcissist the pleasure of seeing it, because what's going to happen if you do that is you're actually going to feed him or her more. The narcissist is going to get supply from you if he or she can get a reaction from you. You feel me? Don't give them the reaction that they want, because if you can avoid that, you maintain the power. Remember, you're in control. This is your life now. You're not with that person anymore. Whether it was your choice or not, it's your life now, and it's time for you to take back your life, take back your power, and start to decide how it's going to happen.
You're triggered and re-traumatized after running into a narcissist. The best way, I think, to deal is to work on self-care when you're not re-traumatized. So in the rest of your life, when you're going through your life, to really work on building coping skills and self-care, having things to go to so that when you do have a trigger or you're re-traumatized by actually seeing them, you have some place to go inside yourself to nurture, to care for yourself, to make yourself feel better. Because when we have a re-traumatization, we have to remember we're not in the initial trauma. So if you're a logic-based person, you can see that this is not the initial trauma. This is just me looking at a person who created the trauma. And sometimes just understanding that can kind of break the bubble of the traumatization a little bit, enough to go, okay, now I need to take care of myself. I need to get out of this situation, get out of here and take a walk, go meditate, go to whatever your go-to self-care is that makes you feel taken care of and nurtured, so that you're not living in the trauma again. Re-traumatization is not the initial trauma. It's an echo of the trauma, or it's a reliving of the trauma, yes, and it's painful and it can feel intense and it can last a long time if you don't take care of yourself. So self-care is like the number one thing I think of when dealing with triggers. It takes doing when you're not triggered. So understanding what it is that you feel better by, what makes you feel nurtured, what makes you feel cared for, and then making a list of those things, so that if you do run into the narcissist, or you're triggered by seeing a car that looks like theirs, or you're triggered by whatever, being in a place where you used to go, then you can pull out your list and be like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to do this for myself. I'm gonna try it. And if you try those things, you're putting activity and energy back into self, and it helps to release the grip of the trauma.
Write down 2 or 3 things that you might want to say to your narcissist if you have to. If you have to speak to him or her, you might want to have a line regarding no contact. I've gone no contact with you because I simply need to stay healthy in my life, and when I'm around you, I don't feel very healthy. If you can do that, write down those 3 things and then memorize them. And so if you are in a position where you have to speak to the narcissist because you have been spotted and they have cornered you, and you have no choice but to speak to him or her, you employ the grave rock method, and then you simply say your 3 or 4 sentences or 2 or 3 sentences that you have created for this purpose and nothing more. You can answer politely. You don't have to be rude, but you certainly are within your rights, if you have the strength to do it, to just turn and walk away. You aren't required to speak to the narcissist.
As an empath, you might have a lot of guilt, fear, obligation, things like this that are going on inside your head when you try to go no contact with a narcissist. Whether it's a romantic situation or a family situation or even a friend or a coworker situation, you still might find yourself going, I feel kind of guilty about it. I feel kind of gross about it. I don't like the way it feels. I wouldn't want someone to do this to me. So how do you deal with those feelings, and should you deal with those feelings, or should you just stick with it? For an empath, is it okay to go no contact? And if you do go no contact, how do you handle the feelings that come with it? The feelings of fog or fear, obligation, and guilt that typically go with it. First of all, you're afraid to do it because it's scary. Change is scary. Depending on the situation, maybe you've never not been in contact with that person, or you have been in contact with that person for many years and you don't know how to disconnect. Even a few months can be enough to change a person's life. So how do you find your way out of the fear, the obligation, and the guilt that come along with the idea of going no contact? We, as empaths, we tend to think to ourselves, well, if somebody did this to me, I would feel devastated. Or we think it's so selfish to do the no contact rule. We want to know, why is it not like morally wrong for us to literally do to them what they've done to us in so many different ways, and that is to discard them? Who are we to discard that person? Well, let's start here. When we're talking about a narcissist, okay, we're talking about someone who blatantly, openly does not care how you feel. We're talking about someone who has no empathy for you and who makes it very obvious in the way that they treat you. Basically, narcissists disrespect you on every single level. They break all your boundaries. They disrespect you as a human being. In fact, they don't even really see you as a whole person. So my answer to people who are like, well, is it morally unethical to go no contact, is no. The answer is no, because narcissists don't respect you in a relationship. Therefore, you don't owe them that respect. Now, if you were in a relationship with someone who did love you and did respect you and did care about you and it just didn't work out, then yes, you would owe them an explanation. It would be wrong for you to just bounce, right? But when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, they don't show you any concern, empathy, anything, it's not so bad. And I'm going to explain a little more about that. Everybody has their own morals. Everybody has their own sense of what's right and what's wrong, their own ethics. And that's why as an empath, you sometimes go, is it morally okay for me to really just drop this person and go no contact? It's understandable, because if someone did that to you, you would see it as morally wrong. And it would be. Bear with me, I'm getting there. But here's the thing. Is it not morally wrong to come into a person's life, promise the world, promise everything, act like you're that person's soulmate, put them up on a pedestal and make them feel better than they've ever felt, and then knock them off that pedestal every 5 minutes, discard them after devaluing them and treating them like they don't matter, and then spend the rest of your life doing that same thing in cycles throughout the relationship? Is that not morally wrong? To show you this wonderful person at the beginning and then devalue you and discard you once they get to know you better? Is that not morally wrong? Is it morally wrong for this person to be in a relationship with you and enjoy everything that you do for them and yet not even give back just a little bit? Look, there's nothing morally wrong with you standing up for yourself and insisting on being respected. And unfortunately, when it comes to a narcissist, that is no contact. You will not be respected by a narcissist consistently, only when it's convenient for them. Going no contact with a narcissist allows you the only avenue to let go of that disrespect. But I feel obligated to tell the person why I'm going no contact. I know you're saying that, right? That's what you're thinking? Well, let's talk about the motives that you feel obligated for. What's behind that for you? Are you telling yourself that you want to tell the narcissist about going no contact because you really want to explain it to them because you think they'll understand? Are you telling them because you don't want to feel selfish? Or are you telling the narcissist this because you hope secretly that they'll say, oh, no idea that I was doing that to you. I'm so sorry. Let's get back together, make sure everything's okay. And then suddenly they'll become that perfect person that you've been expecting them to be all of this time. Let's have a reality check real quick, shall we? You already know, when you've been involved with a narcissist, literally every single thing a narcissist does is for the narcissist. Even if it seems like they're helping you out because, like, I don't know, they're paying your phone bill or they're paying your rent at your house or your mortgage or whatever. It's about them. It's about them having control. It's about them getting what they want. It's about them having the things that they want, being in control of the situation. They don't care what we think. They don't care what we want. And yes, their actions frequently contradict with what they say. And that's what you have to look at as their actions, in addition to the words, of course, because the verbal abuse that comes along with being with a narcissist can be very painful in many cases. Here's the thing. You look at the situation and you go, well, I'm an adult. I allowed this to happen. It's all my fault. No, it's not your fault. It would be your fault if you chose to remain in that situation, knowing what you know and not doing anything differently. Then you could take a certain amount of responsibility. But the truth is, most of us don't come up knowing how to deal with people like this. We aren't in a situation to understand instantly this is a narcissist, this person has no empathy, because it doesn't make sense to us. As empaths, we are wired to react to emotion. We are wired to understand how other people feel and care about how other people feel. Narcissists are not. That is practically foreign to us. That's why we're so confused by it. And that's why we so often think, oh my gosh, I can totally help fix this person, which is why we stick around for so long in some cases. I think the most important thing that we have to remember here is that we, as empaths, as individuals, as survivors, and hopefully thrivers after this kind of relationship, we owe it to ourselves to start focusing on ourselves and what we need, because my gosh, the longer you're in a relationship with a narcissist, the less you actually focus on yourself, and it grows and it gets worse and worse and worse as time goes on. The longer time you spend with one, like say you were born to one and then you got with one in a relationship, the longer time you spend as a supply, the less of yourself you know, the less of your true self is able to emerge into the world. It's really easy for us to worry about them because they've been part of our lives for some significant amount of time. It's easy for us to wonder, what are they thinking? What are they doing right now? Should I be concerned about them? But here's the thing you have to remember. I promise you they're not doing the same thing with you unless they're currently obsessing with you because you're not giving them attention. It's unlikely that the narcissist will spend even half or a third of the amount of energy worrying and stressing about you as you have about them. So here's my deal. I just want you to take a big deep breath with me. And I want you to be proud of yourself. Going no contact is hard, but my gosh, it is so worth it. You will find the weight lifted up off of your shoulders that you've previously carried with you. You will find that all of these new understandings about yourself and the world come into play. And you will suddenly be able to see more clearly than you've ever seen before about so many different things. It's outrageous. Be proud of yourself. Embrace no contact. Understand that the narcissist did not give you the privilege of embracing you properly, and they discard you throughout the relationship in a cyclical fashion. Guilt will do you no good now. If you go and you talk to the narcissist, you break your silence and you say, look here, this is why I left you. I just wanted you to know. Or this is why I stopped talking to you. I just wanted you to know. You're not going to help anyone, not even yourself. What you're going to do is open up a new can of worms, more guilt, more obligation, more fear. Now it's time to focus on yourself. Put yourself first. Put your need to grow and develop your self-esteem now. This is the time. And I'm not talking about in high school, the little self-esteem pamphlet. I'm talking about real, live, raw, naked self-love. So here's what it comes down to. Now, this time, I want you to take the time to actually put yourself first, your own needs first. If it means that you can't relax until you've said to the narcissist, this is why I went no contact, okay, do that. But understand that you're not going to get satisfaction out of it. Narcissists don't do closure. I've done videos on that before. Sometimes people will, do what I call the fade away, where they'll just slowly fade away from a relationship and just slowly go no contact. And some people can do this in a calculated manner that works really well. Other people just need to chop it off, and it's sudden and painful, but ultimately it leads you back to peace, or into a place of peace that maybe you've never found. The thing you have to do is not worry so much now about what the narcissist needs. You have to worry now about what you need. If you need to say anything to the narcissist, do it. My suggestion is write him a letter and don't send it. Or send it if you need to. But write him a letter and tell him how you feel. Have it in your hands and decide, do I really need to see this? Do I really need the narcissist to read this? Or is it enough that I wrote it? Can I just keep it so I don't forget? Or should I throw it away or burn it so I can just release it? Whatever you need to do, do that. But never feel guilty, never feel scared, and never feel obligated to give a narcissist yourself over going no contact. It's not worth it. Going no contact is the only way to true peace after dealing with a narcissist. You've got to remember that a narcissist cannot understand your reasons for going no contact, and they, if anything, will use them against you. Don't waste your breath. That's just my personal advice from me to you. This brings me to the question of the day. And the question of the day is,
have you been in a situation yourself where you've run into the narcissist in public? And if so, how'd you handle it?
Did you figure out a solution that worked, or are you still struggling with it? Share your thoughts, share your ideas, share your experiences in the comment section below, and let's talk about it. If I need to make more videos on this, please let me know exactly what you're dealing with so that I can try to address your situation specifically. I want to give a quick shout out to my amazing channel members, the people who chose to sponsor my channel here on YouTube through that join button that you see below, or the link you see in the description if the join button isn't visible on your device. These are my inner circle people who get a little extra something, some perks from me, but also who help support this channel and make it better for everyone. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being my insiders. My amazing inner circle includes Life's Revival, Black Caesar, Deborah, Roxanne Antle, Susan Marion, and my very first member, Angela Falsetta. Thank you all so much for being such a big, important part of this channel, and thank you for supporting me and my mission to help people discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse and toxic relationships. It means the world to me. Thank you. All right, that's all I've got for you right now, but as always, thank you so much for being a part of my day and a part of my life, and hey, thanks for letting me be a part of yours. It really does mean a lot to me. Now, before I go, make sure you take a look at the videos I'm leaving for you right here and right here. And while you're here, hit that subscribe button right there so we can stay connected and continue on this healing journey together. I'll see you soon.